Hey man, you know what it is. Thank you for tapping in. I'm so happy and grateful now I can be here, giving this game on this platform, sharing this message, giving the word. Let's get paid. I had to come to the realization that it was never you, it was always me. Anybody that I ever attracted in my life was aligned by the frequency that I was on. How can I be mad at you if I was the person that attracted you into my life? Now, everybody is flying on their own plane. Everything is operating on its own frequency. This phone is on its own frequency. You're on your own frequency. Everything is vibration. That's the main law in life, or one of the main ones, the law of vibration. And once you can understand this, you can really start to take your life to a whole nother level. But I had to realize, and I realized this through really paying attention, really being observant to my life, my own life, and my own traumas, right? And we can blame our life on these things, and we can try to pinpoint to a day that this is why I was the way I was. And this might be useful for reference, right? But at the end of the day, the past is already gone. So over trying to pinpoint why you are the way you are and just not realizing you are the way you are, and once you realize where you are today, you have the power to change where you're going tomorrow. But if we're too focused on the past, we can't live today. And I had to pay attention to this because me personally, I had a fear of abandonment, but I had to pay attention to myself and realize my fear of abandonment is what I'm thinking about. So what I think about is what I get in my reality. If all I think about is fear of abandonment, every sign I see of abandonment, I'm cooked. And even your mind, it's so wired to protect us, right? My fear of abandonment would push me to abandon something before it can abandon me. So once I started to pay attention to this, I'm like, man, what am I so afraid of? What am I running from? And I realized it's myself. I cannot allow myself to abandon myself. I'm so focused right now, so conscious of my thoughts, my day-to-day thoughts, my conscious thoughts, because I have learned what goes on in this conscious mind is sent down to the subconscious mind, because we have two parts of one mind. We have one mind, but when we go to sleep, our mind is still working. Our body is still breathing. We're still doing everything normal, but we're not having to think about this. So once you can realize this, you can understand that there's two separate to one thing. Like everything else, law of polarity, there's always two sides to a story. There's always a going in, there's always a going out. So now I realize the cause and effect. I am the sole cause of whatever effect that I get in life. Nobody is responsible for my life. Once you get to a certain point in your life where you are fully capable to take care of yourself, nobody else is responsible for that. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. And this is not to say that you can't have help, but once you realize, I have to do this, I have to help myself. And it goes back to what I've been talking about in all my videos, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of frequency. I think it's time that we realize what we are. And I'm so thankful to see a lot of people waking up. Me personally, I woke up a couple of years ago. I was sitting in college, just doing negative stuff, numbing myself, distracting myself. And I just went like this. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I had a real awakening. I had a real awakening in that moment. And ever since after that, it's just been building and building and building. Because once you gain awareness, you cannot lose that. Once you gain awareness, you cannot lose that. And this awareness is like a snowball. It's just the longer it goes, the more it becomes. So my learning process, I have realized I am in control of this mind. I can't blame anybody else for something that happened so long ago. What am I stuck in that space for when life is happening today? This doesn't make sense. But we have been so programmed, and nobody teaches us to deprogram this brain, this mind. You have to have a desire. You have to have a strong desire, and then you have to have repetition. You have to have self-discipline. This is what I do every single day. When I wake up, I first thank God. Before I even open my eyes, I say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. This is the day that God created. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I tell him, thank you. I pray for whatever I pray for. And I say my affirmations. I say my gold card. I don't have it right here on me, but I say my gold card. Because I know that repetition is what's going to change my paradigm. Your paradigm is essentially the set of patterns that you have, and it's why you are the way you are today. But you have the power to change this. If your dominant thoughts are not helping you get to where you actually want to be, you have to change them. But so many people give up too fast. New Year's resolutions. I'm going to work out more. You go to the gym for 2, 4, 3 days. Somehow you find yourself back into the same old stuff. Why is this? Our paradigm. We have to scale up. You have 3 levels of consciousness. You have the survival paradigm, you have the reasoning, and you have the God consciousness. We want to be gods because we are gods, and it's time that people wake up to realize this. Me personally, I'm not spending my whole life working for somebody else, building somebody else's life. That does not make sense. God told me that he made me in his image. He told me that I have the power to create, the power to be fruitful and multiply. The job essentially is feeding you out their hand, only barely giving you enough to keep coming back, Now, by no means is it wrong to have a job. By no means is it wrong. If you're broke, get a job. But we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. And if you pay attention to the economy right now, you would see. But we have been programmed to lie to ourselves. We have been programmed by the government that they're going to take care of us. Just let them handle it. So many people don't think. We are confused by mental activity. Touch, smell, see, hear, taste. These 5 things give you mental stimulation, mental activity. But this is not thinking. Your mind is so much powerful, so much more powerful. We don't live off instinct. Now, if you're in a low space, you may very much operate just out of survival. And this is where I was operating for 24 years of my life. But I realized there's a better way. There is a better way. God has opened my eyes. He has took the blindfold off my eyes. He has shown me that there is a kingdom on earth. But you cannot achieve this by not thinking, by not using your brain. You have to use your brain. You have to think. What I do, I have my wants. And I become so conscious, so dominant in this thought. This is what occupies my mind. When I find myself going over here, no, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about my goal. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And it catches that rabbit that wants to go down that hole. And I redirect it. Because you are in control. Your conscious mind is in control. Your subconscious mind, it doesn't know the difference. It has no power. This is why, if you are about to go to bed, you can tell yourself, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. No alarm, and you're going to wake up. It's kind of magical how powerful we are and how much we can actually do. But we are so dumbed down, we're so distracted, we're so not in our, highest form, that people don't realize they can do anything they want to do. This is a lot of times out of fear. We are in fear of whatever. Right now I'm learning to kill all of my fear. And this is not to say be dumb, right? Like, you still have to use your brain. I'm not just gonna, I know that I'm not immortal. I have to think. But a lot of times our fear is simply due to the lack of understanding. Because people think investing is risky because they don't know what the outcome is gonna be. But once you realize job security is just as risky because you are allowing this person to dictate your life. If they fire you today, right? We as human beings came to this earth with a blank check. In some reason, we let all these other people tell us our value. That does not make sense. You are God's highest form of creation. Nobody can put a limit on what you can achieve in life. But you have to be willing to go after what you want. Decide what you want and say no to everything else. And do this over and over and over and over and over. Be so consumed. You have to have a burning desire. Be so consumed with this goal. But don't dwell on the obstacles, because there will be obstacles. You might get slapped in your face first day and it's going to say, no, you don't want to do that. But this is that subconscious BS mind. These are these doubts, these fears running in your mind, telling you, no, you can't do this. You can do anything. The only reason you tell yourself no is because you grew up in a program that told you you couldn't do something. Your mind was open when you were born, and all these things were coming into your mind. You can't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So now you grow up thinking, I can't do this. And that's your thought. So the first time you try it, that's what you get, that you can't do it. Now, if you're an ordinary person with an ordinary desire, you're going to quit. But once you realize, man, I really want this. This is no ordinary desire. I will make this happen no matter what happens. You are bound to get it. And it's only a matter of time, especially once you live as if you already have it. Because that's the goal. I mean, that's the key. That's the secret. Living as if you already have it. Because you really do. You lack nothing. It's just a matter of raising your vibration to whatever it is that you want. We grow up and we hear this bull jive. You should be satisfied with what you have. You shouldn't want more. You already have this. Life is infinite. It's forever expanding. Why settle for less? And this is not to say don't be grateful. I'm so grateful for what I have right now because everything I have right now is what I wanted when I didn't have it. I'm so grateful right now. When I wake up, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful right now. There is nothing that I need outside of this moment. I have everything that I need. There is nothing wrong with me right now. But I want stuff. Because the want is what makes you grow. Getting stuff, that's just a side benefit. The want is what makes you grow. It forces you to become the person that deserves these things, the person that is these things. And you are always this person. You don't become somebody new. You just discover this within yourself. You tap into new levels of yourself. You're forced to grow with new levels of yourself. finding out new parts of yourself. But you can't do this if you lack self-awareness. And nobody can tell me that I'm crazy. Nobody can tell me anything. I have self-awareness. I am understanding of who I am. I am God's highest form of creation. Why would I listen to you tell me that I can't do something? That does not make sense. I firmly believe I can do anything that I put my mind to. And you have to have this confidence. Or else, that first sight of defeat, that first sight of failure, you're done. You're going to give up. And you're going to spend your life like that, not truly achieving anything. Go after what you want and say no to everything else. Let's get paid.